Welcome back, people. Today we will see about types of SQL queries. We have five types of SQL queries. They are DDL, which stands for Data Definition Language, DML stands for Data Manipulation Language, DCL, which stands for Data Control Language, and TCL stands for Transaction Control Language, DQL, which stands for Data Query Language. So in this video, we will see about DDL, which is Data Definition Language, and it is used to change the structure of the table. So let's start by creating a DB, which means database. So here we have an option called new. When you press on it, we have an option to create a database. Let's name it DB for beginners and press on create. So now we have a new database with the name DB for beginners, but it does not have any table in it. You can also do it using the SQL query create database name. This is the query to create a database. If you notice this, the create and database are in uppercase, and we have a semicolon at the end. The syntax of SQL is that the keywords must be in uppercase and every statement or query should have a semicolon at the end. So we use something called drop. So we use drop database name query in order to drop the database, which essentially means delete the database itself. We will not be executing this since we already have a database. So what we will do now is create a table inside the database, because table is where the data are being stored inside a database. Let's name it payment. So we have all these keywords like int, not null, primary key, auto increment. We will see about all this as we go along, but for now we will focus on the table create table statement. The syntax of create table statement is that create table name, open parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis we have to give the column name along with the data type. The column parameter specify the name of the column on the table. We also have specify the data type of each column. So to see that, we go to W3 schools and search for SQL data types. So these are the data types that are present. So the important one being character and varchar. So character has a length of, the size of 0 to 255, and varchar has the size of 0 to 65535. We have binary, we have tiny text, we have text, medium text, long text, enum and set. Numeric data types we have tiny integer, medium integer, small integer, and big integer. Every integer has its own size and occupies various amount of space when stored. We also have float, double, and also date and time data types. Just take a look at all these data types. You don't have to remember all these. So we already know the data type integer. Now varchar is just like a string in Python. So it has a size of, we have to define its size inside the parenthesis. It has a size of 50 here. So the statement not null defines that the value cannot be zero. It can be zero, but it cannot be nothing. So in SQL, we have a difference between null and zero. Zero is a value, but null means there is nothing there. So at the end, we have to always close it with a semicolon. Just like database, tables also can be dropped using drop table name command or query. So let's run this first. So we have confirmation. As you can see, inside the database, we have a new table called payments. When you click on payments, you can see that the payment table has two columns, payment ID and name, which is exactly what the query specified. We can also add, delete, or modify columns in an existing table using alter table statement. We can also add and drop various constraints on an existing table. So let's see how that works. So what we are doing here is alter table payments. That is, we are modifying the table payments and adding a column with the name L name, which is last name, and the data type is varchar of 50, which means the size of the varchar is 50. So when we run this and go back to the payments table, we have three columns. The one we added now, that is L name. So let's go back to SQL again, and what we will do is drop the newly added column. To do that, we will use alter table table name drop column column name statement. Let's see how that works. So we have a query alter table table name is payments and drop column name is L name. So when we run this, it asks for the confirmation. Do you really want to execute this query? When we said okay and go back to the table and see, we have only two columns here because the third one, L name, is dropped. We also can rename the column. So the syntax is alter table table name, rename column old name to new name. We already saw about create, drop, and alter. The fourth one is truncate. Truncate is used to free up space containing the table. So let's say we have the table payment and have four rows of data in it. When we use the truncate statement, all the data in the table will be deleted, but the table will not be deleted. So the syntax is truncate table table name. Since we don't have any data as of now, we cannot truncate the table now. But when we learn about inserting values, we will see how to truncate the table. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe to Supporting Tech.